What's going on, everyone? So at the end of season 3, episode 10, the season finale of From, we got introduced to the man in yellow. And it is this creepy old looking man that's wearing this yellow suit that ends up taking out and killing Jim. He is still a complete mystery. We have no idea what he is, who he is, where he's from. Is he the big bad, or is he just a big bad, right? Still a lot of mystery surrounding him, and I imagine we're going to explore and dive into some of it as we move forward into season 4, because we do have season 4 confirmed, although could be 2 years before we end up actually getting that season. So hopefully it's early in 2026, but nonetheless, right, this is one of the big bads, and it's somebody that even communicated all the way back in season 1 to Jim through the the radio, the CB radio that they built and put the tower on Colony House and all that. And this being, monster, spirit, whatever it is not limited like the run-of-the-mill monsters that we have seen, right? The vampiric type of monsters that can only come out at night, and they sleep in the tunnels, and on top of that, they are constricted by the talismans and all that. We don't know what limitations the man in yellow has, if any. I do believe that there are limitations to the man in yellow, simply based on the fact of, like, okay, we know that he doesn't have to only come out at night. So if he wanted to just take everyone out, he could just take everyone out, right? Like, literally just confine them all to their houses. Like, let's say the talisman does work on him. What, are these people never going to leave their houses? Never going to leave Colony House? Nothing, right? Like, he could easily just go and run through the town and just take everybody out. Maybe he's the one that did do that, right? All the way back when Victor was around, which I have an idea for that, and we'll talk about that in a future video. But this clearly appears to be one of the big bads, if not the big bad. One of the things that I think is an interesting parallel and kind of contrast is, again, you see this creepy old kind of like deterrent type of bad, and then you look at the boy in white. And the boy in white is a child, right? Very, accepting, very, draws you in, right? You don't feel like, oh, this thing is about to kill me or rip my throat out, right? Where, see, the man in yellow, it's kind of like, wait, woo, like, it's very standoffish. And I think you have these complete contrasts of good and evil, right? You have the good that is the boy in white. And the boy in white, wants to help and has helped in ways. And, he's kind of living by like, hey, I tried to just tell you guys how to solve this. And it kind of, ended up getting everyone killed. So you guys need to figure it out for yourself. But he still wants to help. He still wants to be helpful, right? Like he tells Victor, like, you cannot tear down that tree. I know you're frustrated. I know you're mad. But you need to leave that tree alone. Although, not going to lie, if I'm Victor, I am just going to town on that tree until the boy in white tells me everything I know, right? But, the boy in white is looked at as this entity of good. Now, Sarah says that she doesn't believe it is a boy, that she believes it's something else. But again, even if it is, like, let's say it isn't a boy, and it is, God or this, good presence that is trying to, kind of let the natural course happen, right? There's clearly rules in FROMVILLE, right? Even the monsters have rules that they have to abide by. Everything has order. And it would make sense that you have this balance within FROMVILLE, but then you also have this balance between the bosses, right? The man in yellow, who is creepy and old and, probably very wise, and and then you have this very childlike, and even if it's not a child, even if it is, say, a grown entity, right? Like, what's the best way to catch people off guard or get people to lay their guard down? By being a child, right? You see a child, you're like, oh, look, it's a kid. You see an adult, you're usually a little more guarded, right? If you're walking down the street and a little kid comes running up to you, right? your natural instinct is usually like, oh, hey, what's wrong? Is everything okay? Right? Like, you're more accepting, you're more open, you're willing to kind of hear the child out. But if some random, grown man walks up to you, old or not, you're kind of like, oh, okay, like, what does he want? Like, why is he here? Why is he, approaching me? Right? It's a different dynamic. And so to me, I think that is a clear sort of contrast that From has wanted to show. You have this old, evil-looking entity with, dark eyes and, kind of a little dirty, right? Little creepy, right? Like, you see it and you're kind of standoffish. And then you have the boy in white that is this very childlike, very innocent type of character. And I think that that was very deliberate from the showrunners of From, right? Obviously, it makes sense as a whole that there would be, but as the big bad, why not have, like, why this look is the question, right? Why this aesthetic? Why this sort of old, sort of frail type looking man, rather than, maybe this man of larger stature and, maybe some muscles or, or kind of, a younger form, or why not even like a child that is creepy, right? Instead of a child that's wearing all white and the boy in white, why not like a boy in black, or a boy in red or something like that? Like, why this specific aesthetic? I think it's purposeful. Again, I think it's the, you have the old and the young, right? You have these different forms, these different versions, because at the same time, you have to think, it is a show. You need to also have movie logic and show logic, right? You need to be able to kind of get across what you want to get across to an audience. And, how do you get across the goodness? Okay, child. How do you get across the evil? Well, this old kind of look dirty, black eyes type monster creature, right? And I think that is kind of the approach and aesthetic. And I just think, you look at the boy in white, he's getting older, he's changing, he's evolving, right? Which leads me to kind of believe that maybe he is a child. Could it even be that the man in yellow sacrificed the boy? What if the boy in white is the man in yellow's child, right? And that's kind of why the boy in white is out. Like, he wants to take down his father. He wants to defeat or maybe it's his grandfather, whatever, right? Or, just as the boy in white is aging, maybe the man in yellow is aging. That is something that could happen as well, right? That maybe you have that, like, both are getting older, both are old. But maybe because he's good, he's aging at a slower rate than, say the man in yellow who is evil, who's evolving at a different rate. But regardless, however this shapes up, again, there's clearly these two entities, these two beings, one good, one evil, that are, trying to have an impact. And I imagine we're going to kind of continue to unravel and unpack these two going into season 4. And we should, right? I hope that they have an idea and direction for these two and the approach that they want to take with these two, because I do think that there is a lot of potential with the man in yellow, and whether he's the big bad or not, we'll find out. I could see that being the case, but I don't want to just label him the big bad right out the gate, because again, we don't know. Could be some things to unpack. But I also think that there will be a clear connection between the boy in white and the man in yellow. I think it's too obvious of an entry point to not go through with it, right? To kind of keep it simplistic and like, hey, you have this good, you have this evil, it's straightforward, it's black and white, here you go, right? You got the older, creepy man and the young, warming child, right? Like, there you go. You have the easy contrast. I think that is kind of the approach that they want to take. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you think that, yes, the boy in white, he's clearly good and child, because it's more, again, it's more accepting, warmer, right? It's you're willing to embrace and kind of let your guard down for a child compared to a creepy old man, right? You're kind of like, okay, like what's going on? Like, especially when, you know, the way that the man in yellow approached even Jim, right? It's just kind of like, oh, okay, like time out, right? But anyway, again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps with that. So we enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.